to the Katie's Star Show, and I'm so honored this evening to be sitting here with Scarlett McPhearson. So excited she's here, and if you haven't heard of her, she is a rising star in Dallas, a part of the group the Clams that just had a couple of write-ups in the Dallas Observer, and Scarlett won a few awards. I'll let you tell us more about all of that.
Yes. Well, we won Best Punk Act, and I personally don't consider ourselves punk, but hey, we don't make the nominations, you know. So, but I'm just happy that we won. You know, sure, we'll be punk, fine.
Yeah,
we won it.
That's awesome.
You know, and then and then I won Best Rock Vocals.
Yeah.
So there's the rock, if you will. You know,
I love that. That's so awesome.
Because I think we're very, maybe our attitude's a little punk. Like we get sassy, we get we go a little hard on stage, but like the music is, to me, rock and roll, grungy kind of ish. But yes, I did win the Best Rock Vocals.
That's so awesome. And before I actually met Scarlett, I saw her on stage, and I think it was at a show at the Double Wide, maybe.
Yes.
And
because Scarlett was taking lessons from you.
Yeah, that's right. And it was, I think, maybe my favorite show I've ever been to in Dallas. It was so fun. I mean, before they even started singing, there's like all this visual imagery going on.
That was our single release show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
we brought out all the stuff for that. Like,
yeah,
we whenever we do like a bill, like we put it together, we try to make it a big deal. Like we want to have tattoo artists and burlesque dancers and you name it, really anything. And then also we did a lot of like stage props and cut out some corals and had lights and made it a big old thing.
It was so awesome.
I personally love that part of it, like just production.
And then you told me afterwards, and I didn't know this during the show, but they had, of course, even, you know, with props, a guy that's dressed up as a clam, right?
As a lobster.
A lobster.
Yes, my friend dressed up, Taylor Dayton. Yeah. Dressed up as our lobster. And we got this lobster suit off of Amazon, and it was like had this little blow up thing, and it's supposed to push air through the suit, but it wasn't, so it was kind of floppy, but it totally worked. Like I was like, just be a floppy lobster.
And I thought that was so funny, but that's like how Clam is. Like they have so much fun, and like, I mean, just watching their Instagram or TikTok, it's like you just feel like embodied in the spirit of how much fun they have all the time.
Yes. Well, you know, when you're nervous, all you can do is just act a fool.
I love that. That's awesome.
Like, the more nervous you are, the wilder you can be. Just to, like, hide it. I have stage fright still to this day. I just, like, get up there and just act goofy and tough.
I would never imagine that you have stage fright.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've heard, like, some of, like, the most amazing performers ever had like the worst stage fright, so on that level I can believe it, but I mean, like, watching your show, you could
like, I'm not locking up anymore, but like, I think it's like before the storm, you know, like it's just like you're like, oh god, I'm about to just erupt on stage. Like my volcano is steaming and I'm about to blow up. And then after you blow up, you're just like, oh, I'm okay. I feel so much better after playing because it's over with, and you're just like, you just put it all out there, and now you're just like, you know? You're like, it's just also a good feeling. It's kind of like, kind of feel high off of that.
Yeah.
Ride the high.
Oh, for sure.
Giggly, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very giggly after a show. I'm just like,
everything's funny.
Yeah, or like people were saying, talking to me after, and I just got like this big old cheese on my face, just like.
You don't realize you're smiling, but it's just there, like permanent smile.
Yeah, just like.
That's awesome. I love that.
Either that, or I'm just like, you know, or just like exhausted. But that's like part of it. Like if you're exhausted, you kind of, it's like euphoric.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what?
Yeah, for sure. It's like a different kind of high.
Yeah.
After the show high.
Yeah, especially if you go really hard, like you're rolling around, jumping off, and running around everywhere and stuff.
Yeah. You guys go hard too. You're like in the crowd, jumping up and down on stage, running around. I mean, y'all are all over the place. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just recently saw a band that lights things on fire on stage, and they really do it. I mean, they take the drum set, put it on the bar while it's still playing.
That's so cool.
We saw them in Austin first, and then they came to Delawide, and I was like, oh, you can go that far.
Like another step further, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that. Like, what I'm doing is just, like, might as well just get a fog machine and, like, they're playing instruments and, like, moving it to outside even, and
oh wow,
it's just amazing. And like crowd surfing and playing at the same time. I don't know. Ooh. That's me and Skylar were just took that as an inspiration. We're like, we gotta do more.
Are we gonna see this in King Clam shows?
I don't know how we would do. We're gonna probably slowly get there and pushing the envelopes and things.
Yeah, learn to play with fire.
I don't know about that. I'm honestly, it's so cool that I'm like, how. I just want like a machine that goes, doo, doo, from the ground, and that's all. I don't want to have like a fire that I have to like put out. Yeah. Because then I'm responsible for that. But like maybe like a little machine just.
Like the pyrotechnic.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Something that just a little bit of flash. I don't know if I really want to like have to start a fire and then put it out.
Yeah, that's a whole different level.
However, it's so cool. I was losing it. I'm just like melting and
oh yeah, I can see
cool.
that.
But anyway,
so I have to ask you, how did you guys get the name King Clam? Where did that come from?
Well, when me and Skylar were, putting everything together, we had it's time to come up with a name. Right. And at the time, Austin Williams was our bassist and co-founder. And we were just at the bar, me and him, because I think Skylar was working or something. And I was like, let's play around with some ideas. Yeah. And I don't know. One time, me and Austin, before this band, were talking about getting together and doing something together. We're calling it the Bellas Twins because of Bellas is like the genus of daisy. Okay. So I kind of like went down that route of like finding the word. Yeah. And I was like, at the time I was watching like Bizarre Foods, and I was just playing around with a whole bunch of food names. And the gooey duck is like that clam that has like the long part coming out of it. Okay. And it buries itself and it shoots water, and I was just being silly and was like, what if we were the gooey ducks? He's like, that's not even a cool name. And I'm like, you're right. So I was like, it's not even cool. And I was like, you're right. So then I just kind of like did the thing with the Bellas Twins and the Daisy, and then did that with the King Clam or the gooey duck. And then I saw it was the King Clam because it's a giant clam. However, there also is the King Clam that's like those giant clams too. So anyways, I just saw King Clam as a type of clam, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Yeah. King Clam. It has like I just kept saying it like 5 times. It was like King Clam, right? King Clam. Yeah. It was like King Clam. And then we said to Skylar, she goes, I don't know. And I was like, no, just say it like a couple of times. Like King Clam, right? Like chant it. Yeah. And then I was like, we'll roll with it. So then we started like making like a piece of paper, started making like a little logo for it. We kind of came up with it together. I was like, okay, make the king like solid, and we're gonna make the clam all gooey looking. Ooh, that's like, cool. So we kind of came up with that together, and then because we also had that drawn out and showed Skylar, she's like, yeah, okay, this is good. Yeah. And then it just kind of worked. I don't know. We just used it for like open mics, and I think it was good. People were like, King Clam, huh? Yeah. And also, like, on accident, just like all the clam stuff is like super marketable. Like you can just put bubbles and clams and the bubble machine. Yeah, the bubble machine. Just like deep dark sea dungeon badness, you know? Which,
yeah, all of the sea things.
Yeah, you could play with that.
Yeah,
you know?
treasures
so why not?
and mermaids and pirates and all
Yeah.
of the...
And like, what's really funny is like there's other bands that have like seafood names. Like I think there's like a shrimp and turtle, shrimp, turtle, and like I don't know. So it was like really funny if like, or mud bugs. It'd be really funny if like there was like a clam bake bill that had like King Clam, the mud bugs, and like King Turtle and King Crawdad and like all those like things. I thought that'd be really funny. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna do that, but maybe one day.
I love that.
Just have like a whole seafood pot or of sea life.
Like a crawfish broil.
Yeah. Like the band name is like King Crawdad.
Yeah.
You know, or like King Turtle, or
like all the kings.
King Shrimp.
Yeah.
Or just something in the clams, or you know, pearls, or like even pearl. Like we were really excited about. They're like pearl or like King Clam.
Ooh, yeah, with the pearls and the clams.
Yeah, like that's fun to play with.
Yeah, I get that. That's so fun. I love how you guys just kind of like organically were just talking about food, and then it turned into something that's like so you also, I think, you know, and like you're saying, it's so marketable, which is just so brilliant. It's really fun how you can take something like really silly and then it turns into something
I'm very
perfect.
silly. I think we are very silly together, me and Skylar.
Yeah.
Just, you know, like, she's like, oh, it's kind of cool because it's like, especially like the gooey duck, it's like Clam, and then we have boys in the band. I was like, you're right. You're the best of both. You know?
It works for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. I love that. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions that I put down ahead of time because I really wanted to know these about you. I know that you guys have been into songwriting and you've got some really awesome songs. I heard at your shows, and then also, you know, like all of your social medias and all of that. Do you have any specific like songwriting approach or rituals or specific methods that help you create music?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying Skylar is a genius. I just think that she's a great songwriter. Yeah, like she comes up with like some wild, like just, and also her voice is so different than mine, you know, and like how she presents it is like, I'm usually just like, you know, like, wow. But okay, so like in the beginning, we worked together. I think like our first song that we've ever written, we did together. We were on a train in China, and I was sad.
Cool.
I was going through like this weird relationship or whatever, and she saw that I was sad. She was like, "We're not gonna do this. We're gonna write a song about it." And I was fighting.
Nice.
I just didn't want to, because honestly, I didn't have like a whole, like Skylar's had like a history of songwriting, and I really haven't. You know, all I know is I know how to put lyrics together and words and, you know, stuff like that. So she came up with like a melody, and then I came up with words, and I was mad. So I put, this was 69, and I was like, you know, and then she was like, okay, now we're gonna make this into a song with those lyrics. And then she kind of like helped me, and I helped her, and then it came together, you know.
Yeah.
And like there's like we have another song called Rabbits, and she mostly came up with those melodies, you know. And then like Stars, like I dreamt about Stars. The song Stars that we have, I was literally dreaming, and I was drinking a Lone Star in my dream, listening to the radio, and I woke up and I was like, that's not a song, but it's a song. And then I just
dreamt about it.
Yes, this is the only time this has really happened. And like I just came in, this guy was like, it goes like this, and I was just humming it, and then she like was figuring it out.
Are you serious?
Yes, just the one time that's ever happened.
That's amazing.
And it's like, yes. So, and you know, now with the new band members that we have, we're all kind of writing together. So like they're coming up with, you know, like the rhythm section and like the songs they've written, and Skylar is putting her guitar parts on it, and I'm coming up with melodies, you know, and lyrics, and that, you know, all of that. So it's kind of like, it's definitely all together. Like we, it's like a crock pot of goodness.
Right.
Skylar is a really great songwriter already. So it's like I wouldn't have been able to expand as much as I have now and like how we write if it wasn't, for her.
That's cool.
So
it's like you guys work as a team to make the music.
Yeah. Or like, if somebody's got an idea and it's mostly, we're cool with that. We put our own little changes on whatever and figure it out. Especially if we play the song over and over again, things change naturally. So it's like, just add a little bit here and there,
right.
And that's just how we work. But, like I said, Skylar is just a multi-talented genius. She plays keys, guitar. She's got a beautiful voice. Ugh.
She does.
She does.
She really does. Really.
And like
really
when
does.
we lock together, I just like feel it. I'm just like, oh, this is so good. It's like a blanket, like a warm blanket, just wrapping me up.
Ooh, I love that.
Because like I got like that growly thing going on, but then her beautiful angelic voice just creates like a sandwich of awesome.
Yeah, she has kind of like that rock voice, but it's got the vibrato.
And like it's almost like, I don't know.
It's a good match.
It's a good match. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you guys, how did you meet?
Well, we met, I was working at this place called HG. I'm still working there. But she was working there, and I had this apartment and I had a boyfriend that left, and so I had all this room.
Yeah.
And when we first were working with each other, we really didn't talk. We didn't really know each other. The place is so big. I mean, people come and go. I usually just keep to myself unless someone's been there a long time, and then I kind of establish a relationship.
Yeah.
But one of our coworkers y'all need to meet. Y'all need to hang out. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So we do hang out, and she has a guitar. I'm like, ugh. And I was singing everywhere. I was doing open mics. I was looking for a band. I had joined a band beforehand. It didn't work out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it wasn't like anybody had any direction, and it was like, what am I even doing in it?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to express myself, or I'm the lead singer, but yet I'm not in the lead position. I'm over here.
Oh yeah, that's gotta feel
and
awesome.
So it's just kind of I don't even know what to do. What do you want me to do? So then I ended up quitting that band, and I was just dead set on getting a band together, and I was just whining about it and trying to find people.
Yeah.
And she played guitar, and I was like, ooh. But there's more than that. We actually bonded over Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
At the time I was really into her and just really emulating that. This is before I had really any lessons, so I just I knew I wanted to have that power sound. So I was just emulating that. I didn't care if I was hurting myself. I was drinking and smoking and just being like Janis. I was no way to be but like Janis, and so and then she was playing it, we sang it together, and I was it was such a moment, it was just yes, and so after that, she needed a place to stay, so we moved her in my living room, and then we lived together, and I was this is good, and starting that friendship, then we got a house together, then we moved out again. We were trying to get the band together at that time, but it just didn't happen. We've never been in a band before. We didn't know how to get it together,
Yeah.
We didn't have the right people behind us at the time. It was just us, and we were nah. When we moved out and she had her own place, I had my own place, we found Austin. And then Austin came in, and it just when we started putting together the ideas that we had, it started making music. We were okay, here it is, and then we were just messing around, and then her roommate at the time was a drummer, and he just comes out and starts playing drums.
That's fine.
Yeah, and it just made it real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And then we started playing open mics, and then that's how it started.
That was the birth of King Clam.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's really cool though. It's kind of like a process you guys went through, but it's built on your friendship and your love for music.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what the changes are, it's you guys continue to grow, you continue to make better music, continue to write new stuff, you have your own brand, like you were saying with the awesome marketing stuff going on, and I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we get the money, I really want to make like better, different merch, but like crazy merch. Like, I don't know. I came up with a couple of ideas, but like more than shirts and stickers. I want.
Those are really cool though too. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
so I love those.
Yeah, I mean, I love what we've done so far, but I want to come up with like a shop, and like you see things. It's like I have to have these. These are wild. These are insane. What are they?
That's cool.
Like, I don't know. Of course, hats, underwear.
Ooh, that's fun.
You know, maybe even like a makeup palette at some time.
Ooh, yeah.
Like Skylar could have the Skylar version, and I can have my version, and there's something like from like stage performance, like we have like our own bubble machines. I don't know.
That's a great idea.
Stuff like that, like eventually, but like the Clam is like. It's so fun to play with. There's so many options that you can come up with.
Oh my gosh, you could even have like a gigantic clam.
Yeah,
that you
we can make pillows, right? Clam pillows.
Clam pillows, that's awesome.
Yeah, clam floaties. For like
I love that. I want one.
God, so many things.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
It is kind of endless with the clam. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You do so much with that. That's way cool. Do you have like a favorite moment performing on stage that just pops out at you?
Oh. Well, there's been some milestone moments, like when we played at Trees for the first time. Because, like, you know, when we're starting out as a band, we're like, we gotta play here, here, here. You know, we want to do this, this, and that. And, like, we still have big dreams to do other things and, like, things on our list. But at the time, you know, it's like, oh, we're playing Trees already.
That's a big deal.
You know? And, you know, we're fans of Nirvana and stuff, so we're just imagining them playing. Everybody who's ever played
there, right?
Yeah, everybody who's ever played there was like, okay, well, we're going to be on that stage.
Like, the same stage as them.
And I remember just being, like, really kind of, like, emotional about it. And, or, like, even as little as when we, or not little, but, you know, when we got offered a 3-link show. Because me and Skylar used to go watch music before the band, and we were like, when is it going to be us, you know? Like, when are we ever going to do it, you know? And, like, even 3-links, when we were first playing at 3-links, we're like, we're doing it. We're playing at 3-links.
Yeah.
We took a picture. We were like, take a picture of us about to play 3-links. Because we've always wanted to, you know? Like,
it's like a moment.
We were like hugging each other.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like hitting milestones, and then also like like a moment. Just trying to think of all the wild stuff that's happened. There's been a lot. I think the house shows are always the best. Like, as far as like something happening. Mm-hmm. There was this one birthday show we played for Phil from Primo Danger, and we were like, we're gonna wear underwear. We're gonna be in our underwear. It was really hot outside too, so whatever. We like eventually got down to our underwear, and like Skylar threw her bra and it landed straight on him, and I was like, yes, that's an awesome moment. You know what I mean? Like,
that's amazing.
You know, like stuff like that.
Like you couldn't do that at a venue, but you could do that.
It was cool. It was cool.
And you guys, I have to say, have like the coolest setup as far as costumes too. Like, where do you get the inspiration for all
evolved.
that?
I mean, like, whenever we first started playing, we just, like, looked nice, you know? Like, I think I was wearing jeans and some kind of top, and then I was like, I gotta get off the jeans thing. I mean, it was cool for a little bit, but I was like, I wanna be wild. I wanna wear stuff that we don't wear in public, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of go for it, and we just started getting, we were just like, whatever we'd never wear, you know, like, in public. So we just got wild with it one time. I think we started wearing like chains and fishnets and all this stuff, and like it just, you know, and like I really had to invest in pasties because like I wasn't aware how important a pasty was.
Right.
And like things were just flying everywhere, and I was like, well, we're gonna have to fix that. So we invest in these cool pasties. Like every time we go to a show, we go to like a stripper store and buy like the coolest pasties they got. Yeah. You know, because we're like, make sure you get those pasties. Yeah. Because we've been, you know, in some situations before on accident. Because you know, when you're shaking around and gyrating, I mean, you just don't know what's gonna pop out. So you know, even if you tie them up. Sometimes it just does not matter. So that, and then, you know, lately, I think we both have kind of done this where we kind of want to do like superhero kind of like dangerous vibe.
That's so awesome.
So like for like the last show I wore, I had like a pleather leotard with big shoulders.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
And like obviously chain belts and everything and like cowboy boots. But I'm wearing gloves now, like long gloves.
Yeah.
A lot.
Like the ones I got here.
Long, yeah.
Yeah.
Like long gloves, and I'm just like kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
Skylar's like got a whole. She layers up on a whole bunch of cool stuff and wears shades, awesome. And she like, you know, she's got her guitar licking down, you know.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I love it when she does that. I'm just like, God, that's so cool.
Did I see her lick her guitar at the end of a show?
Oh, probably.
That was so
She's awesome
yeah.
in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, one day, who knows? Maybe she'll have one that just like, and it just like spins or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like she's going to come up with some
kind of thing that's different. That it would be. Like, who was the guy that did, I'm forgetting the word of, roller coaster, but he was playing the drums.
Oh, Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
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 We went to go see Zach Sabbath the other day, and he has this move where he holds his guitar, he just goes,
like so dramatic and slow, right?
And I was like, that's his thing though. Like, so it's like Skylar's gonna come up with her thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have your thing too?
I have
your things. You probably have things.
Skylar told me the other day. She was like, "You look like." She's like, "You look like Alice Cooper in the face when you perform," and I was like, "Alice Cooper in the face?" She's like, "Y'all look similar," and I was like, "Fine."
Oh, you're like, fine. That's my thing, I guess.
Fine. So, like, you know, like, I think there was one point I had, like, a Riley crop. There was, like, the bubble gun thing, you know. I point a lot, and I kind of, like, do this with my hands a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen you do that.
Talking, you know, I'm just kind of, like, and, like,
with the finger.
You know, like, I'm kind of doing that, and I do get on the ground and roll around a little bit, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Someone pointed out that I do this thing with my hair. Like, I don't even realize I'm doing it because honestly, it's like so hot most of the time. I'm just doing it to get air to my neck and face.
Yeah, okay.
It's like the windmill.
Oh yeah, I've seen you do that.
Thing, and it like swoops.
Yeah,
you know?
And you're doing that for air though.
Yeah, I'm doing it because it's like it's so hot. I'm just like.
It looks like you're just totally jamming out with the music or something.
Yeah, and like secretly I'm doing a lot. Like if I get down on the ground and put my hand on the ground, it's because like I'm really pushing a note or I'm just like so tired and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get through. You know, like, but it looks like a move.
It does, yeah.
And like and no one sees my face right here, but I'm like,
you know,
and then I can do the flip and I'm like, there's the air. Because like this air is hot, you know?
I mean, I've seen you on stage and I'm like,
sometimes
how does she do that?
Sometimes my hair gets like,
in your mouth?
And I inhale it on accident. So like I have to like move my hair around a lot.
Your hair is kind of your thing too because it's so amazing and like
it's real big. It's a little
such
wet
a statement.
right now, but
I love it.
And you know that's another thing. It's like most people, if I straighten my hair, people have a hard time recognizing me.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'll walk clean past somebody I've known forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Clean past them.
Clean past.
Clean past.
And then they'll be like. One person I know introduced themselves to me.
Yeah.
I was like,
are you serious?
Yes. I was like, hello, how are you doing? My name is Scarlett.
Oh my God.
And then it didn't register, and then they came around and they're like, you let me introduce myself to you? You got me, you know, because they just realized who I was after I had straight hair. So it's
and they even heard you say, my name is Scarlett, and they still didn't get it.
They're like, it's the hair.
That's your thing. I love your hair.
And you know, it's funny because like when I was growing up, my hair was like the cause for like to be made fun of. You know, like it wasn't cool back then to have giant hair. You know, like people were straightening their hair all the time, doing the side bang thing, and you know,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I was made fun of, you know, for my hair a whole lot. Like it was something that made me different. So. Later in life, I stopped straightening my hair and just kind of let it roll. I had brown hair and just said, I'm just going to grow it out as much as I can. And it was long and huge. I had the most hair. But then, you know, I got like the bang cut because I was just like, I can't live like Cousin It. You know, like I'm gonna die. My hair is going to wrap around me and just suffocate me one day. Like, you know, so I just was like, I'm gonna have a little bit of movement.
Yeah.
A little
Is
shorter.
it thick too, or is it like
very,
you just have a lot
very
of it?
thick.
And you have a lot of it too.
Yeah.
On top of that, yeah.
So the hair is the statement.
I love it. It goes along with what you're doing though too, because like if you look at like rock bands especially, they have the hair, you know.
It's so hair metal.
Yeah. yes. That's what I'm trying
By
to say.
accident. You know, like it was like my dad was like, you just grew up at the wrong time. If you were like going to high school, you'd be the most popular girl in high school.
Right.
Because of how huge your hair could get. You don't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
But you know,
hair to kill for, and now it goes along with like your whole thing.
It definitely fits, and who knew? Because I didn't know I could even sing or even get on stage until about 5 years ago. Like this has not been like a long. I mean, I used to air guitar on my tennis racket and my in the mirror, and I was like, I could totally be a rock star. My dad was one. Like, why can't I be one? Okay. I had no skills, and I couldn't even sing, and I was singing very high like a little girl, and it had no soul, you know.
So I did not know your dad was a rock star.
Well, he was in a band like before I was born, and you know had to quit the band because I was born. But
that's like
it was in Arlington, so like they played some big stuff, and like I think he played guitar at the state fair for like 20 songs by himself.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he was a pretty good guitar player. I mean.
Yeah.
So I think he probably just didn't want that life for me, and like whenever I wanted to play guitar or like you know I ended up getting stuck on the cello. So.
Oh okay.
Yeah, I still play cello, but you know I think it was like the most un-rock and roll thing you could do.
Yeah.
Safe for my daughter to play.
Right.
So.
And now look at you, the best rock vocalist.
And you know it's his fault.
It happened.
He put me. I had stage fright, right? So like he puts me up for karaoke. I never have done karaoke, and you know I was listening to a lot of Aretha and Janis at the time, and I just tried it, and it wasn't too bad. It was a little. I was nervous. I was doing the claw, and I was like, you know, freaking out, and you know, and then I started singing more karaoke and just being shit-faced, you know, singing to Janis Joplin and doing some weird stuff because you know I've never sang like that, growling. It's just nothing but growl.
Yeah.
And then you know, then we started the open mics. I had a friend that like pushed me up there, and I was fighting it then. I was like, can't do it. I was like, you have to do it. Just go up there and push me up there. And I had no choice. I'm like, well, I have no choice now.
Yeah.
And I was singing at the Balcony Club, and
okay.
That's where like I started singing there all the time to like try to get over it and used to it.
Yeah.
It's just like watching videos from that time is so cringe. I'm just like, look at me. I'm so nervous and tense and just it's like wild.
You've seen like so much change.
Yeah, like I'm just like
feel like a different person back then.
Doing rock and roll songs at all these open mics, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just gonna do rock and roll, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And Balcony's mostly jazz too, so it's like a different genre.
Well, they
for
had like the Monday night, so like you pick anybody can come in there and you just pick a song. It could be from anything, and they're all so talented. They just come up, they just look up the tabs for it. They just play it,
and they just know it,
and they just play together, and it's really cool to watch. And you know, someone can pick like a Blondie song, or they can pick like a jazz song, or they can pick like a country song. They'll play it.
That's way
so
cool.
It's almost like karaoke, but not. It's like a live band. So I was just picking all these classic rock songs, and and I do a little Aretha here and there.
Oh, I could hear you being good at that.
Yeah, I was trying a whole bunch of different things. I did like a Howlin' Wolf song, or the Put a Spell on You song, because he has like a raspy voice, you know.
That's fine.
And just trying a whole bunch of different things. I'd always come up with like a different one, and just like memorizing a song, because I wasn't one to have my phone out.
Yeah.
I would do my best to try to memorize the song before I'd go in there.
That's smart.
And it's hard, because I was just like, remember the song, you know?
Yeah.
This is before I got with Skylar, so it's like I didn't really follow how music was like done, you know, like the cues.
Okay.
Like I wasn't. Now I can hear them. I'm like, oh, this is where you come in.
Yeah.
You know, but back then it was like, That's the spot. Just because I've listened to the song a million times before I came in here. And they improv a little bit, because it's not going to be perfect, right? So then you have to.
Yeah, for sure. I remember feeling like that at Balcony Club when I first started doing like classic jazz tunes. Mm-hmm. There's like that break in there, you know? Mm-hmm. And then you have to know when to come in. Mm-hmm. And so I think half the time I would just like try to jump in too fast.
You know, I learned my lesson on one night. I picked a Stevie Ray Vaughan song.
Okay.
And Lucky Peterson was there.
Okay.
And he was playing guitar on that song. And I'm going like the song goes, right? And I don't really even know who he was until after. And then he's like soloing, and then I look at Lenny, and he was like, let him go, let him play. And I was like, oh, right. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then he'll finish, and then I'll come back in, right. But I didn't know, because I was, and then afterwards, we had a conversation. He's like, what made you pick that song? I was like, I'm just a big fan. He's like, when I was hanging out with them. And then I looked him up and I was like, oh my God. He's a legend. Oh my God. But you know what I mean? Like, just me just like so green and not knowing a thing and just being up there and being like, oh, this is how it's done. You got to look at the rest of the band, you know what I mean? And figure out who's doing what and give them the nod. They got to give you the nod, you know what I mean? You got to.
The nod.
Y'all have to like communicate, not just shut off and sing a song. So.
I think that's like such a thing too. When something like that happens and it's almost like fated, it's like you're just pushed in that position and you're there. I feel like it's almost foretelling of what you do in a way. It's like that. That's how I think of it. Like maybe it wasn't a happenstance. Like. You were kind of.
I'm surprised by it because honestly, I can tell you right now, I had no clue. Like growing up, nope. I mean, I was singing in choir, but like it was just like it wasn't anything powerful. It was all very. I was young. I was very young, so like it was very soprano-y and like very mousy. I didn't know. I don't know how I came across. I think it was just trying to be like Janice, and I just was like drinking a lot and like. I just forced myself to do it, and then it just stuck.
Yeah, it's so different than choir, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it was
opposite.
Just like I'm gonna be yelling and mean on stage, Just like that was the only way for me to even like do it,
That's so cool. It's like you found your soul that way.
Yeah, and it just was like a big surprise.
Yeah,
because I didn't just feel like somebody was like, hey, I think you have talent. Let me, pull it out of you, and it was more like I just kind of was like, oh. If I sing like this, I can do this and sing like this, and then I did, and then it was just like I picked those same songs over and over again,
Yeah.
I think it was like a Led Zeppelin song and a Janis song, and that was it.
That's cool. That's so
those two, and I would just sing the same songs, and then just kind of like introduce some other things. But my dad was like, you got to start like singing, like you can't just be growling the entire time. You're gonna hurt yourself, and also like it doesn't make sense the whole time, like for certain things,
Yeah.
So then that's when I got the a couple lessons from my friend Audra. She was an opera singer, and I took a couple lessons with her at SMU, and she showed me like she had my hands on her stomach when she was doing some of her opera runs, and it was just like my hands were literally pushing away from her stomach, like that the force.
Yeah.
Like naturally, like I was just like she would go, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, why is my hand falling back?" Like the force that she had, and so like she was like, "Try to teach me that," and then I started picking up on those things like the air and all this stuff. So like I had just a little bit of help towards the end there, but like as far as like singing, I had to like figure that one out.
Yeah.
Like later.
Yeah.
And then Skylar helped a little bit with that too. Because she's like, why don't you try like slowing down and like being more melodic with these things instead of just, because that's actually a nervous tick, is to be constantly growling, because it's just like all I did and all I knew how to do, that one thing.
You're like, I'm good at this, I'm doing this.
Yeah, but I want to be a better singer in general. I want to have it all 5 notches, I want to take it from there and be all up there.
Yeah.
One day. I mean, that's the goal at least.
Yeah, having all those different dynamics and the growls and all that.
I want to have like a pretty strong head voice as well. Like, I like covet that. I really want it.
Like the whistle tone, is that what you're talking about?
I wanna, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just like break glass, you know, like I want that too. Yeah. Yes. I don't want to get stuck in like this low register where I'm just like growling all the time. I want to be able to do everything.
That's so awesome, because I feel like there's a lot of vocalists that get used to an area and that's where they're at, you know? And like to have that big range and play around with all of it, like.
Look, I know it's gonna be work. I know I'm gonna have to like practice at it all the time. I don't care. I want it.
Make it happen.
I want to be able to hit like something and just be able to. I mean, even if I, mess around with like making other music, I want to be able to explore all different types of sounds, and I want to be able to hit high notes and very low notes and go from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And pick and choose and just be able to.
Yeah. It's like having all the colors in your palette.
Yes. Yeah. If I'm gonna paint, I want a whole palette.
Exactly.
Not just a couple of colors.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that you can really see that too in your music. You can see it in your presentation too, and costumes and all that too. It's just very dynamic, very fun, very colorful.
Yeah, we work on those kinds of things. We have to
you can tell.
Sit down and talk about them. Like what are we going for? Like what are we gonna do for this? And what are we planning for the future? And and working on our skills is another. Skylar's taking guitar lessons now and like trying to making sure we are on it. To do better. I mean, we're not gonna just because we win a couple of awards doesn't mean we're gonna be like, oh, we're good. We're good. We're fine now. No. We want to just be better in everything.
That's
like,
so
just
awesome.
For ourselves,
Yeah.
And, to be able to write, better things with other people, like, just broaden the horizon.
Yeah. Always learning new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, and, whatever it takes.
Wherever it leads you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And speaking of future things coming up, do you guys have, I know you came out with a 69 single most recently, right?
Mm.
Do you have other ones coming up or any shows coming up that we can look forward to?
We have one song recorded in the bank. We're going to release that, and then we'll have 3 on Spotify. But, we have essentially like the whole first album. I mean, we're just trying to figure out how to package it right now. Like I think we were doing the single thing, and we can hype it up and do like a whole photo shoot for it and brush it up a little bit at a time. But I don't know if we're going to do all of the songs from the first album. So I know that I want to get the ones that I really want to do recorded and then release those. And then the band is written with the new drummer and the new bass player, Joe and Jimmy. We've already written 2 new songs.
Oh.
And, that's what we have been looking for. We're looking for people to work with us and, like, push us and, like, create with us. And because, like, we had just been writing on those songs for a while. And, like, we're, like, ready to write some new stuff. And it's, like, already happening. So I'm really excited about that. I think we're working on a 3rd one, too. So, to get a whole nother album out would be, because we want to tour, but I don't want to do it with not having like an arsenal of like material.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I know that I want to get the first half songs out, and then we'll start releasing the new stuff and vamping that maybe a little bit differently, because I think I definitely want to include them on all of our stuff, and and I want to like the band feel. I want them to be a part of what we decide on, what we do when we show up, do interviews and stuff. I want them to be a part of it. Like, I think it's important, especially if we're writing together, that they have a voice in it, because they're contributing. So
that's way cool.
And then as far as shows, we have She-Rock in Denton. I think it's on the 2nd of March.
Okay.
1st or 2nd. And so we have that coming up. But we have been really trying to slow down booking in Dallas, because we've made a name here. We've played a lot here. Yeah. And I think that I want it to be special when we play here. So when we do, it's like something that people miss us and they'll come out. It's a big deal, because we don't play as much. We want to play outside of Dallas and other states and other cities more.
Yeah.
So we're trying. It's really hard to say no to everything because I really don't want to, and I always like get a little nervous about that. But I mean, at the same time, you can't be booking all the time in the same area.
Yeah,
all the time. You just can't. Like, that, you know, it's hard to bring people out more and more because they can just see you next week.
Yep.
You know, so it's tricky, but I mean, it's something that needs to be done, and I really do want to start playing in other cities more.
That's awesome. Yeah,
so we definitely want that.
You guys are gonna, so you have a new album coming out.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Working on it.
New stuff.
And then, would it be a national tour that you're going on then?
You know, we've talked about it, and we've never toured before.
Oh.
So we've heard like the jaunt thing is a good idea, like a small run.
Okay.
And I think that makes sense for now, so we get the hang of it. And you know, we haven't been with the boys and locked together and for a week yet. You know, so there's personalities you gotta get going there, and also money and like how to budget and like, you know, I don't want to just book a 2-week tour in green. You know, like I want to figure it out a little bit before we start doing like from here to Chicago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, sure, maybe we should just go from here to Chicago and book a whole bunch of places in between. Like, cool. But I would feel better if we just did like a little bit of a jaunt here and like, boom, boom, boom. That was fun. This bit of a weekend thing or whatever, and then we build up to that.
That makes sense. It's kind of like you guys are kind of doing Denton too, right?
We play a lot in Denton, and I'm happy with Denton, and I want to play more in Austin, you know, of course. You know, we've played in Tyler, we've played in Wichita, we've played in, you know, I want to go down to San Antonio at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and just start making relationships down there. I mean, we have a couple of bands in Austin that we know, but we don't play there nearly as much as I want to. We play more in Denton. But yeah, like that's the move, is to start really reaching out and start branching out. I think it's really important.
That makes sense.
That's like the only way to grow, you know. Like it's gonna be challenging, and it's gonna, you know, like opening for people and stuff like that again, and not having a headline.
Just because it's a new city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. All I want to do is play good and make friends and just have fun doing it. Like the business part behind it can be kind of daunting at times, and me and Skylar have to constantly pep each other up and like not getting like discouraged and taking anything personally. It's like, you know, I want to have fun with it as well. So it's kind of like, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. It's going to be fine.
Right?
We're having a great time.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're having fun. So that's all that matters,
especially because like you want to play.
Yeah.
You know, like all the other stuff, it could be a lot. But when we're on stage and you're playing and you're killing it, that's the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Or even when you're in a recording studio and you're making really cool stuff, like that's the moment that you kind of live for, those two moments, I think, at least.
For sure, that makes sense. Those are like the magic moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
That's awesome. I love that. And you guys bring so much to Dallas, and also it's exciting that you guys are expanding out now, and we're excited to hear your new music too.
Me too. I can't wait to show that off.
Oh yeah, I mean, I totally listen to like to 69 like on repeat.
Really?
Getting ready for this, yeah. I was like jamming out to it. It's so good. It's like very empowering feeling, you know.
That was the saddest time of my life. Well, not saddest, but like one of the saddest times writing that song.
Yeah.
And it's like that's like one of our. It's like the slowest song that we have. You know, more chill.
Yeah.
But it's like the most pain. Like has like the most pain in it. Like, you know, that I sometimes if I'm upset and I'm singing that song on stage, I sometimes like tear up a little bit.
Oh, you really feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's interesting too, like, because when I was listening to it, I was hearing just like the strength from it, and I was feeling like empowered. And music's interesting like that too, because like you wrote it from a place of like where sometimes feel like tearing up, but it's interesting. I wonder what, you know, all the different interpretations.
Yeah, I think the power comes to like me being angry and getting my like this is what I'm gonna do about it.
Yeah.
But but I know like it's just because of this happened.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sitting there just
Totally.
like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do that because I'm so sad. But, you know, I mean, it made a good song. It's a very facetious song. You know?
It's a good one. I love that. And I love also Roswell, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one was fun to write because I drew a picture of the desert. And I was like, this is what I want this song to sound like. Come up with a riff, Skylar, that was like, just imagine us walking in this picture. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
and like
cool.
looking around, like how are we gonna tell this story? And it was like it is about Roswell, like the crash, and I kind of investigated. I read some articles of like what happened.
Yeah.
So like some of the lyrics are like of what happened. In like the original crash or whatever.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
a sheep farm or whatever. And I put that in there. I was like, it was in a sheep farm. And it was like, you know. So yeah, and then she came up with like, you know, like talking to the aliens.
I love that.
I don't know. It was a vibe. It's just like a song about aliens. Not necessarily like we're hardcore or anything into it, but you know, it's just like a topic.
It's an interesting topic too.
Yeah.
And I love how you work at it visually. Like you gave her, this is a desert. What's that sound like? It's like you take a visual.
What are we doing? Like, we're walking through it. How are we feeling? Is it scary? Like,
yeah.
That was that song. I mean, that was the only time we did that. That was the only time we ever did that. But that's how that one happened. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all a little bit different, probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been fun, like getting to know you more. Definitely, hearing like the genius, like in your brain, how you do all of these things and your plans for things. I'm super excited to see what you guys do next and everything too. Thank you so much for being on the show. And we're going to put all the links below so you can follow Scarlett on all the social things and look for up and coming shows with King Clam. So have a good evening.